sometimes it just doesn't always go how you think it's going to go though. So it's probably a lesson to take on board. You know, you can change it right up until the last minute.
Hey, are you ready to open the next cheer chapter? I'm Allison Sack with over 20 years in the cheerleading industry, and somehow I ended up as an author too. I'm here to give it to you straight. No fluff, useful tips, and all the perks from life on the mats and in the books. Whether you're doing the laundry, driving, or just trying to survive, you're in the right place. So grab your coffee or your jug of water and let's turn the next page.
Moving on from my last self-published author entry in the cheer chapters, we're going to do a bit of a checklist, quick fly journey into all of the things I considered and done and steps into publishing that first book, going from 0 to published and done. Now, there are a lot of steps and moving parts, and I've got a whole folder down here just sitting in front of me, which I haven't looked at in quite a while because now I've just written my 8th book, 5 published. And I feel like now there's quite a lot that I can do automatically. However, there are quite a few where I just like to go back to the checklists and work through them just to make sure I've covered everything. And I quite often will just write new ones as I'm working through each book and part of the business that I'm working on, because there's just things that you just need to do and forget and work on and update and things. So starting from scratch. Well, after I told you my why of becoming a self-published author, after that, and I decided to think about writing the book, I guess I was just tinkering around with actually writing stories first, because as I mentioned before, I tell my son made up stories and he loves them and he loves imagination and, going off on all these crazy ideas and things that just come up and just pulling stories from anywhere, really. I've always just verbally told them. I've never actually written them down. So, yeah, I guess that first stage was actually sitting and brainstorming ideas of what I actually thought was helpful or going to be helpful. I was doing some research into what was actually out there, because what gave me the idea was that I wanted to put cheerleading books out there to help other young children that was a similar age to our son at the time, help them really enjoy reading and actually want to read a book and find it really just fun and love going through it and reading it with their parents or by themselves, and find something that's about a sport that they love. And as I mentioned, there was an awful lot out there for that age group at the time, so I felt that pretty confident after doing some research that I could do this book and it, I don't know, might be okay. To be honest, I wasn't really sure. So yeah, I did a fair amount of research and just thought, I'm just going to do it. So then I started tinkering around writing stories, and to be honest, please do not cringe, although you probably will, especially if you are listening to this and you're actually a well-established author, which you probably wouldn't be listening to me if that was the case. But anyway, I write them down in spreadsheets. So I still do it now. So I'll write out a spreadsheet of my rough ideas. So it'll be what I think the overall topics are going to be at the top, what age group it's for, how many words I want it to be, how many pages I want it to be, what size I want the book, all of those kind of things I'll put at the top of the spreadsheet. And then down the spreadsheet, I'll just write random things that I think should be messages in books or topics that I really think are important. And I think that comes more from my cheer coaching side than it does anything else, because just coaching kids and seeing them go through various struggles and lessons and things like that, they're things that I just find are important in coaching life, and why not put them in a book, right? So I'll write those down first, and then after that I kind of started being okay, well, in other columns I need to think about what character would suit that kind of message, and then what's the story going to be with that kind of message. So talking about book 2, for example, which is about the twins and tumbling, in the Excel spreadsheet it would have been kids wanting to have a skill but not putting in the reps and the time to get that skill. And then at the time when I was coaching the twins, I'm oh, that's actually perfect. If I put twins in the story, one twin does the drills, the other doesn't, one gets it first, so on and so forth. And that's kind of how I would build the story up, is getting the message, what kind of characters, what's influencing me at the time, what's around in my world, what have I seen in the past, just all of those kind of things, I guess, what influence my thoughts and patterns of the story. It just all goes in the spreadsheet. So once I've got like the message and the characters and a rough paragraph of what the story is going to be, then I can think of what the title is going to be. However, I think it was book number 3, which is Jumping into Cheer. That title I think was something else, and then I changed it, and then I didn't have a title for a while, and then I wasn't sure. And then even with that book, I think I changed the title of it when I was making the cover, actually, after I got the illustrations from the author, from my artist. So yeah. Sometimes it just doesn't always go how you think it's going to go, though. So it's probably a lesson to take on board. You know, you can change it right up until the last minute. So, yeah, that's kind of how I like structured the stories. And then once I was like, okay, and there's loads on there. Like I've got so many like notes written down about different stories, ideas. And then I kind of just picked one which I felt the strongest about to do the first book. And then I just kind of left the rest at the time because I didn't really know how this was going to go. I literally had no idea what I was doing. I was just literally getting on the internet and being like, how do I become a self-published author? What are the steps I need to take? What do I need to do first? Like, oh my goodness, it was just a lot of YouTube and Googling. Anyway, once I got that story and I thought I'm going to go with this one first, which was Cheer for You, because obviously that's probably makes sense, right? It's about a girl trying out for cheer and she didn't know she's going to do it, and in the location at the time was at a school because I was coaching in a school, and that's how everyone starts cheer, right? You got to go do a lesson at some point and try it. So that felt appropriate for the first book. So I wrote the story and then just went through the various stages of writing the story and being like, do I even like this story? Like read it to my son and to some other cheerleaders to see what they thought, and they thought it was great. So okay, so now what do I do? Now I got the story pretty much in a Word document and I have no idea what to do next. So thinking about that, I'm looking at it from a business point of view because I do operate my full-time business. Doing books and the other things that I do on the side is more of a passion project. So I still look at it from the stages though. So I'm lucky in the sense that I have done other businesses to think along those lines without having zero experience, I guess. So I was thinking about, okay, well, what do I want to call it? So then you've got to research. It's called the Cheerleader Book Club, which you probably know if you're here, unless you just search cheer chapters. And then you've got to search to make sure that what it is that you're going to call your book publishing or your business is available. Once I did see that it was available, and I've researched different names as well. I was trying to research, like what's going to be good for SEO when people were searching cheerleading books. So you would probably want to do the same. Like, what type of books are you putting out there, and what are people going to search? Like, how are you going to make this work easier for you, right? We want everything to work easier when people are searching, not make our jobs harder. So thinking about, I guess, like if you're thinking about becoming a self-published author, you wouldn't want to write something that's about horror stories, but then your business is called something like Sparkle and Shine. Like, it's just not going to work. So you need to think of stuff that's going to go together, it's going to be relatable, and it's going to work with SEO. And now, once I did that, I did buy the purchase name. I did buy the business name because we were in Australia, so I purchased the business name. I then went and got it trademarked worldwide. That took quite a long time, actually, and a mistake that I made then that I would not do again and would not recommend is if you are really thinking of trademarking. When I got my logo made the first time, I didn't have the registered or the trademarked copyright stamp put on it, so it's just the plain logo. So then I went and did the first book and did the website and social media and so on and so forth, all with that logo. But then I realized, though, actually I could put a trademark on it without having to have the trademark back. I could put a TM. So then I changed it to that while I was still waiting. But then I had to change it all again for the third time when I finally got the registration through to the R. So in hindsight, doing that again, I'd just go straight to the R. It just would have made everything so much easier. I wouldn't have had to do everything 3 times. And then with the logo, I did hire somebody from Fiverr to build my logo, and I absolutely love their artwork so much. I would always go to them for building anything like that. They're just so good, and they just nailed it. Like, I think I gave them like a brief description and said what rough colors I wanted, which I probably wouldn't do now. I'd probably have like a full brand like PDF thing going on, full descriptions, artwork, drawings and everything. But honestly, they just nailed it. And they also did the conversion to the Cheer Chapters logo, nailed that as well, like with the book and the bookmark with it just goes so well. So that was really cool. And then once I got that back, and then I had the hex codes, and then asked them what fonts they'd used, and then I could do research of the fonts. If you're using fonts, make sure that you have the rights to use the fonts. That's really important. Yeah, so then where was I at? So I've got my book written out. I've checked that the kids like it, and I've then got a logo. And depending on like where you are in the world, like we need to register for an ABN, which I already have because I already operate my own business. But like the legal side of where you are in the world, you need to have a look into that as well if you're going to be bringing in income from books as like a side hustle or whatever it is you're thinking of doing. You need to think about too. So then I went and researched to find an editor. I love my editor. She's great. She edits all my stuff. She is actually amazing. Like when I send her my books and I'll say like, this is in this tone, this is how I wanted it to sound, this is the reason of the story, this is the ages it's from, and I give her all that information. And then when she sends me the edited version back, she sends me like the edited copy, and then she sends me a whole other copy with like all the changes on it and feedback and stuff. Like she's so good. I just love her. And the fact that I have dyslexia, and ADHD, it makes me really like sporadic in my wording, and which is why I've never wanted to write down stories, if I'm honest with you. It was never even something that I thought I would be able to do, because with the dyslexia I'll miss out words and I'll put sentences, miss whole section. Anyway, it's just it could be a bit of a hot mess. So it's really not something I was ever confident in doing. And having an editor and being able to send them this and get those changes back, and then not having to like be like, oh, my grammar and my punctuation and my spelling, and is this wording correct, and should I put a different word in there, and is it age appropriate? She does the whole lot. It's so good. So I adore her. So then once I've got that edited version back, then I was looking at the illustrator. So finding an illustrator took quite a while, and that's a whole other video I'll do in itself in the whole illustration process. But just to do a real short one, I'll break the page down on what I want on each page in a Word document. I'll then describe in text what pictures I want, and I will then either draw them or go and find photos that are like similar to what I want, but how I want them changed, or images or something from somewhere that will give my illustrator an idea of what I'm asking her to do, especially with cheer, because it's so, I guess so new. Like if you're not part of the cheer world, you'd have no idea what I was talking about if I said, I want a pyramid with an extension in it and 2 supporting preps. You'd be like, what? so having images for her. And also my illustrator, I adore her too. She's amazing. Like she just nails it, and she'll send me the stuff back, and I'm always so excited to see it. And if there's any changes, anything needs changing, colors. Sometimes she sent me a prep once. The kid didn't have shoes on. I'm like, we can't do preps without shoes. So she'll put shoes on the character. So making sure that you've got the right illustrator, having a good editor is really good. Now with formatting the books, I've actually learned how to do that myself now. But with the first 2, I actually got my illustrator. She also does formatting to format the books. It does cost more money, and it also takes some more time, and it also gives me less freedom on how I wanted the interiors of the book to look, and the covers, right? So I learned how to format books myself, and I use Canva to format my books, which I don't know, like Sometimes people say not Canva, you should use other like higher processing. But for me, I just love Canva and I use Canva Pro. You don't have to use Canva Pro, but I do because I use it for everything. So I use it for my actual cheer business. And then I use it for my books. I use it for my son. I just use it for everything. It's great. So you can put like, I'll do a video on this too. If it's something that you want, I can go through like a whole video of like how I format, but you need to know like the formats of your book. So that's a whole other thing as well. Like picking out what size your book's going to be in, who are you going to have it printed by, what's your cost going to be, what profits are you going to make, all of those things. And like, can you share your book, your rights by an ISBNs? Oh my goodness, there's so many things. So you need to buy well, you don't need to actually. With Amazon, there's some printing distributors that will give you an ISBN, but it won't necessarily belong to you because they've given you one, right? So I buy my own ISBNs. I'll put the links for these all in the description. And usually you can buy one or you can buy 10. I'll usually just buy 10 because 10 doesn't last very many, to be honest. Like if you've got hardback, paperback, ebook, and audiobook, that's 4 versions of one book gone already. So I just buy them in 10s. It's cheaper. It works out to be like roughly 10 Australian dollars per ISBN. Like it's not like a high price. So you buy your own ISBN, and that's basically like a code that is to your book, and you have to have a different one per version. And I even have one for my box set as well. Even though there's 5 books in there that already have their own ISBNs, I needed to get a new one for the box set because it's a different product, sorry. So ISBNs are really important. You allocate them to each book. You don't have to pay for barcodes either. You can get free barcodes made. I'll put that link in there as well. I should really write down all these things that I need to do. I will do that on my next video, make notes to myself. Because you need to get barcodes when you're formatting. But then I guess that also depends on if you're doing the formatting or if somebody else is doing the formatting, right? Something to consider anyway. I can do a deeper dive on that when we do the formatting video. And then you're going to format your books. You need to be thinking about the margins. Are you going to have bleed or no bleed? The size. With your printing company, who are you going to print them with? I've gone through various different distributors, different print companies over the last couple of years that I've been doing this. And currently now I use Amazon KDP for my paperbacks, and I also have the ebooks on there as well. Then I use Ingram Spark to do my hardcovers because Amazon won't print my hardcovers. They won't do those sizes. So I use Ingram for that. And then they end up connected on the Amazon listings anyway. Then I also have my paperbacks, ebooks on Ingram Spark as well because they are my global distributor. Whereas Amazon are just purely on Amazon. They're not my global distributor. And then I also use BookVault for printing directly from my website. I love BookVault. The quality is amazing. Like just the feel of the paper in your hands is so good, especially for the books like The Journal and Brave Bow to Toe, where kids are drawing, colouring them in and writing and stuff. So good. And the print colour on the paper is amazing. Cannot recommend them high enough. I just love them. And they also do like bespoke print. So if you want to do like foils or ribbons, so my journal I have printed through BookVault with a ribbon, and you can only do that there. So if they want it, they have to order it directly through my website. And then also box set, that's only available on BookVault, so you have to order that through the website. So if you want to do like foils, if you want to do like I can't remember what it's called, but where you like print the pictures on the actual paper and it's like color and stuff, they do all of that. So I love them for that reason. So looking into what size your books are and who are you going to distribute them through, and does that size cross all of those different distributors? And bearing in mind, you do need to buy your own, you have to own the ISBNs if you're going to do this cross distribution thing, right? So make sure that you're not picking this random crazy size. My sister-in-law asked me to look for a size not long ago, and I think only one of them did it. So I would never be able to do that size because that's not how I want to run this at all. I want to make things as easy as possible, that when I've got my book, I can put it on all of those different platforms, and it's easy for me to do that. I do not want to make my job any harder as it is. Like I said, this is a passion project. It's something that I just love to do, and I want to get back to the cheerleading world. This is not something that is my full-time income. So I do have my full-time job. This is more of like just my little hobby. Anyway, so once you've done that, you've got your branding, got your logo, you've done all your legal stuff, you've got your ISBNs, you've wrote your story, got your editor, got your illustrator, had your formatting done, you've got your books, you're pretty much ready to go, right? Well, after that, you need to think about setting it up on those programs. That comes with lots of like keyword research, which categories you're going to put them in. I use Publisher Rocket. I actually didn't get Publisher Rocket for my, or did I? Thinking about it, it's quite a while ago now. I may have done. Don't hold me to it. I don't know if it's the first or the second book that I got it, but anyway, I'll put a link for that below as well. Publisher Rocket has been amazing for researching which categories I can put my book in where it's going to have the most amount of visibility. Because for me, especially with cheer, like cheer isn't always listed as its own category on various sites, because it's still so, like, when people say cheerleading isn't new, I'm like, this is how you know it's still a baby sport, when there's everything else on there: golf, cycling, snowboarding, football, soccer, everything, gymnastics, dance, no cheerleading. Anyway, you got to figure out what category your book's going to go into and where it's going to have the most amount of visibility. And you can do that on Publisher Rocket. So easy. You can look at other books that are similar to yours and see which categories they're in and where they are, how many books they sell a month, what keywords they use. You can search up keywords and see which ones are going to be the best for your book. Like, honestly, it's just the best thing to like save you time and put your books in the best position for people to see them on Amazon without you just guessing. Because you might think, oh, my book's about cheerleading, I should put it in sport, gymnastics, because it's the nearest category, and maybe fiction, right? But actually it would probably do better in other categories that are like related searches. So you could do things like other categories that are like close. So have you got other things in there? Like, is there any magic in there? Is there any other learning? Is it like a particular place in the world? Is it like an ethnic background? You can research all of those as well. And if that's in your book and in your story, you can put your book there. But obviously don't go putting them in categories that are just not relative, because they will end up getting removed anyway. Yes, Publisher Rocket, so good. Then once you know that, you can put all of those details in when you upload your books. You're going to upload them to all of your various sites, wherever you've decided your distributors are going to be. You don't have to do like, I'm just telling you what I've done. There's like a million ways to do this, and I've probably gone like all around the houses trying to figure out like what I'm going to do with this. Like I said, I had no idea what I was doing. I don't pretend to know what I'm doing. I'm literally just figuring it out as I go along. And I've got a little list down here. I just want to check to make sure that I haven't missed anything. With your ISBNs as well, when I got my ISBNs, you can open up like an extended search, which is really good. And I did extended details, sorry, and I didn't do that first. I only just done that, I think, on the 5th one. I had to go back and redo them all, but you can put more details in there, which makes them more searchable by other schools and libraries and things like that. And then once we've got all that done, I'm assuming by now you've probably not done your like purchasing a URL for your website. Where are you going to host your website? How much are you going to pay for that? Are you going to do social media? Like, how are people going to find your book? Because putting your book just out there doesn't mean it's going to sell. And just because you pick the right categories and the right keywords also doesn't mean that it's going to sell. So there's like, I can't even remember what the figure is. Maybe I should just Google it. Anyway, there is millions of books. So you really want to be thinking about your marketing and your branding and who you're targeting to, as I mentioned before, that your logos and your wording and your covers and all of the things is pretty much set. You've got to think of it like a business. You can't just go throwing stuff up, any old namby-pamby, go and getting, it's got to be, it's just got to look good. Like, your covers have got to look good. You can't have fonts that don't match the illustrations. Your illustrations style needs to go with the age group that you're targeting. Everything has to intertwine and go together like a business. It's just got to look good, right? So, yeah, I reckon getting feedback's also really good. Like, I love to send my books, drawings, anything that I'm currently working on to people in that age group, in that demographic that are into that thing. So if you've got friends that are into like horror stories and that's what you're writing, I would highly recommend whatever it is you're doing, covers, logos, anything, show them if you're happy to do that, especially if you've got like people that can be advanced readers. So you can do like ARC reader groups, which is probably another whole video, but you can do like advanced reader copies which are watermarked, and you send them out to people. They give you free reviews and things like that, and that helps with sales and awareness and whatnot. But having feedback on what you're doing from people that you trust their opinion is it's so valuable to you, like so valuable. There's things that I've done where the kids are like, you know, no filter, they'll just tell me if they don't like it, and then they'll give me other ideas of things that they want and things that they would love to see and all those kind of things that I wouldn't necessarily think of. So getting that feedback is really good research for you. And make sure you write like an author bio. Looking at building the website was probably what I did next. Once I'd got that book done, I started building the website and social media after. And then after that, I pretty much went into like marketing, like how I'm gonna market it, what I'm doing after launch, all those kind of things, which is pretty much like getting yourself onto Google. So I got it on there. I've actually changed websites completely from when I first started. Now I use Hostinger and WordPress, which the cost of using those is like astronomically different to what I was using before. Like I said, being a self-published author, you just got to keep your costs as low as possible, especially when you're starting. So if you're somebody that can like look into getting websites built through somebody that can do a hosting system where you're paying a low amount per year instead of high amounts, if that's a decision and something you can do, that is what I've done, and it's definitely worked in my favor. And then after publishing that first book and getting the website up, social media, after that I actually think I just poodled a little bit, to be honest. And then I got the second one done. I didn't do much for a while, didn't really do much on social media either, but then we had a lot going on with my other business, and then we moved house and things, so it was a little bit crazy. And then after that, it was actually my father-in-law. He come to live with us for a bit, and he looked at my books and things, and he said to me that I should do more and that he thought they were really good, and he gave me this crazy target of writing 100 books, which is like outrageous. Like I don't know if I'll ever get to 100 books, but he definitely like put a rocket behind me, and it got me going again. And since then I have published 3 more books since he was here, and I've written 3 more. I've changed the website. It's taken quite a lot of work getting from the beginning to here. But yeah, it's been fun. It's been interesting, and that's pretty much like a checklist kind of gist of how I went from knowing zilch about self-publishing and even writing books, formatting or anything, and just literally researched and spent a lot of time and just basically figured everything out the hard way. So pretty much drove my husband bananas. But yeah, it's definitely been fun. It's definitely something I actually really enjoy. A lot more than I thought I would, and without my son I never would have considered it. So I'm grateful to those. And if you are thinking about going on this journey, I hope there was something helpful, insightful, or something you've done and felt like you could relate to in this video, and not feel like you don't know what you're doing, because I don't feel like I know what I'm doing either. We're all just figuring it out. It's fine. If you have any questions, anything you'd like me to dive deeper on, any particular topics, I would always, as I say, love to hear from you. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will look forward to seeing you in the next Cheer chapter. Have a wonderful day.
Thanks for sticking with me until the end of this chapter. I hope you found something useful, or at the very least cracked a smile. If you want some more, dive into more episodes, grab one of my books or a freebie at thecheerleaderbookclub.com. Hit me up on socials at the Cheerleader Book Club, and if you have a wild topic you want to hear my take on, send it over. No, really, thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate you. And on that note, I will look forward to seeing you in the next Cheer chapter.